Hi, welcome to my August Kick A challenge. So what we're doing this month is we're working all body parts with A. So the first week is abs, then arms, then ass, then we're doing aerobics, and then the last week we're doing all of the above. So we're going to have a fantastic body when we're done, ready to go back to school or get into the grind for the fall. So let's not waste any more time. In this video, I'm going to be doing the first 2 weeks, so we're going to be doing abs and arms. So follow along with the calendar, and then once you get past those 2 weeks, you can move on to the next video, which will have the next 2 weeks. I am excited that you're taking this challenge, so let's begin. So you're going to come down to your mat, and for this first week, you need absolutely no equipment. So we're going to start with the first day of the week, which will be bicycles and bicycle pulses. Now, I gave you the option in the calendar to do a set number of reps or a set timed interval based on your ability, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So for this, so that you can just, whoever's following along can do what they can do, I'm setting the timer for 45 seconds. You just do as much as you can, okay? So bicycles. Your back is pressing to the mat, your hands are behind the head. Your bicycle will look like this, twisting, and you go as low as you can. You can go up higher if you need to. If you need to modify, you would bring knee to elbow. Okay? If you need to keep your head down, you could simply just bicycle with your legs. Here we go. So it's important to try and keep your back imprinted or pressing to the mat. If you're feeling your back coming up a little bit, but you're not feeling a strain, that's okay. If you are feeling strained, that's not okay. Lift your legs higher in the air or modify with the first modification I gave you. Just keep twisting, twisting, twisting. You don't want to go with that super fast bicycle you see people doing sometimes, because you're just using momentum and you're not really fully engaging your abs. Keep going. Okay, the pulse goes like this. One leg is here, one leg is here, and you just pulse towards the knee. If you need to, you can put this leg down. Okay? So, the important thing here is to see, look where my alignment is. My knee is over my hip, and my knee is in line with my heel. Do not drop the foot down. That will hurt your back. So, you just stay twisted. And again, if you have to put your head down, that's fine. But you're going to stay twisted right here, and just keep pulsing. And focus again on trying to keep your back pressing into the mat as much as possible. It may come up a little, but like I said, if it's not straining you, that's okay. So the more you can come up, the better. Excuse me. And just keep pulsing. I'm just taking nice, long, deep breaths while I'm here. And we're going to switch. So we're going to twist the other way. Knee bent, again, keeping that heel in line with the knee and pulsing. You might notice my feet are flexed. If you can flex your feet, that's great. If you need to point or it just gives you a cramp, then you don't have to flex. When you flex, you get a little bit into your quads. When you point, you get more into the hamstrings. So I guess if you prefer the hamstrings, you can point. But most of us have pretty strong hamstrings and often not strong enough quads. Excellent. So we're going to move on to the next day. Roll-ups and roll-ups alternating leg lifts. So we're going to practice our roll-up. All you need to do is keep your legs straight, keep your arms straight over your head, pull your belly in, exhale as you come up, and roll up. You can either reach over your feet or you can sit all the way up, which would be great if you could do that. Then you slowly resist the urge to go back, and you're done. If you're having trouble with the roll-up and you only can get to here, that's fine. If you need to, if you can pull yourself up a little bit better, kind of walking up your legs a little bit, that's fine. Just try not to use a lot of momentum, okay? Try really to just get that abs kind of engaging. Use your exhale. That will absolutely help. Here we go. If you don't breathe properly and you hold your breath, it's going to give you a really hard time getting up. So again, exhale, come up, reach, and down. So So if you can, try and do what I'm doing instead of very tall, reaching to the ceiling. Try and come up all the way, really tall, and then resist, 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 and go back. So you want to resist the urge to just fall back. Good. Now we're going to alternate legs coming up. So you're just going to come up, lifting a leg, and go down. Now if you're not ready for that, then you would just take a break and then try rolling up again. So as you can see, again, I'm coming up as much as I can. I'm lifting and reaching towards the leg this time. So I won't be sitting up as tall. I'll be leaning back. I'm still using my exhale. And these exercises, there's 2 to be done a day. Doesn't take much longer than 1.5 minutes, depending on, or 2 minutes, depending on how long you're doing them for. And you can also add on. So let's say you did the first day, which this week was Monday, and then you get to Tuesday, you could do the 2 exercises Monday, and then these 2, you could add on every day. So at the end of the week, you're doing all of the exercises in your calendar for that week. So Wednesday, the next day that I have, is side lying leg lifts and then kneeling side leg lifts. They're 2 different things. So the first thing, and this is, we're going to do each side, okay? So we're going to lie on a side, doesn't matter, pick a side, and what you're going to do is you're going to lie here on your arm and lift your legs up and down. Now, if you want a little more leverage, you want to get higher up, you can go here and go like this, okay? So I'll probably do that. If you would like to rest your arm and not get up as high, that's okay. If that is not possible for you, you can lift just one leg up right here, okay? So that's what we're going to do. So again, you can lie on your arm, you can come up. You also want to stay off your hip bone, roll back onto your cheek just a little bit. If you feel this is getting into your back, chances are you're too far forward and you need to roll back like I just did. Or you can go to the one leg, lifting up and down. It just might be that your core is just not ready yet. And that's okay. That's the point of this. And like I said just a minute ago, you can add on. So you could do Monday, Tuesday, and this is Wednesday. So you could do all 3 days in one if you want to. Or just do the 2. It's your challenge. Another thing you could do is do 2 sets of each, 3 sets, 4 sets of each, you know, whatever you feel comfortable with or whatever you feel is appropriate for your goal. You might be doing a full workout and then just doing these on top of it. So it's up to you. You make the challenge your own. So we're going to the other side. Again, you can do it with single legs. You want to roll back onto your cheek to get it out of your back and into your abs. And off your hip bone. It's not fun grinding your hip bone into the mat. Keep lifting, abs in tight. Anytime you're doing any movement, you want to think about exhaling through the exertion. So as I lift, I exhale. Okay, next is the kneeling side leg lift, or side leg lift. So you come here, open up, now I'm nice and wide, and my leg's going to come up right here. Just like that. Now, if for some reason you need to modify, maybe you have a weak wrist or something, you could go onto your elbow instead of the forearm, or 2 hands down, so you'd be more like this if you need to. Now, this exercise will also get into your glutes, your butt, so, or your, you know what, your ass. So that's another A here, but it is really good for your obliques as well. And if you have a bad knee and you can't be on your knee, you can stand and do this exercise, just standing and lifting the leg to the side. So really there's modifications for all of you, so no excuse, right? Here we go. If you are in the same position I'm in, try and keep your shoulder and wrist aligned. You don't want your hand really wide, far away from you. Almost there. Excellent. Okay, let's go on to the next day. Spider plank, alternating knees, and rolling plank. Okay. Both of these can be done either on your hands with your wrists flexed or on your elbows. I am going to, well, I'll demonstrate both and then you can decide. So the spider plank, what that is you bring your knee to your elbow. And it's more like a Spider-Man, or yeah, Spider-Man kind of thing. It's not like a spider, but Spider-Man sort of thing where you're climbing a wall. So if you're here on your forearms, if you're here on your forearms, or your, excuse me, your hands, you're going to keep your butt down and try and stay in a nice plank here. And you're going to bring your knee to your elbow right here. If you're here on your forearm, same thing. Now, I think what I would say I prefer you try, if you're more advanced, is on your elbows and forearms, because then it's more difficult for the core to stabilize your body, okay? If you have your hands extended, it's a little easier to keep your body stabilized. You have more support and just more room. But if it's you're not getting into your obliques, if you just can't get into there, then please come up here. Okay, so I'm going to do them on my forearms, but please, by all means, go to your hands. Okay. Oh, and if you need to modify, I'm sorry, you would stay on your hands and knees, and you would just bring it in here, and you can even go down here and bring it in here. Okay. So here we go. Obviously, I'm alternating. Excellent. So let me demonstrate the rolling plank for you, and then we'll do it. So rolling plank just means you're twisting your hips, basically. So if I'm down here, I'm dropping my hips to the sides. Now what happens is you have to kind of keep tucking your toes under because you kind of move. So that's normal, okay? Then if you're doing it up here, you'll be doing the same thing. Okay? So both are effective. It's just if you need a little more leverage or you feel more comfortable in one position than the other. Okay? Again, I'm going to do it in the forearm plank position. All right, here we go. So try your best to keep your, your butt down and stuff, even though we're down here kind of twisting. It might come up a little more than if you were holding a regular old plank, but it's okay. Another thing I suggest is if you're doing this every day, just the two exercises, why not throw a plank in, every day? Even if it's just a few seconds, you'll see certainly a improvement by the end of the week. And if you're doing this the whole month, just a plank every day, by the end of the month, you will certainly see an improvement. It's just one of those things you can do anywhere and get other people involved too. So just a thought, stretch that out a second. Okay. We are into what would be Friday of the first week of August, the 5th, and we are doing side planks and flutter kicks to scissors. So, side planks. Again, depending on what's comfortable for you, you can do them all the way up on your hands, or you can do them on your forearms. People always ask me, okay, which one's harder, which is more challenging, and if you ask me, I say on your forearm. Again, because you will have more leverage here, just like that. But I think it's more difficult here. You decide what's more challenging to you. So we're just going to hold a side plank right like this, okay? Abs are in. Try and lift. See, I'm lifting up a little bit. Try and pull your belly in and lift. Just want to keep your head from, you don't want to like look down and twist. If you can, just look up at your hand or look straight forward. Right here. Holding the plank. Now, I didn't mention this, I'm sorry, but if you need to modify, you would just put the bottom knee down. So you would hold this with your knee down, okay? And just do as long as you can. If you're more of a beginner, you'll do less. If you're more advanced, you can do more. Good. If you decided to go with reps instead of timed intervals, just count to, however many you're supposed to do. If you're doing 45 seconds, you would just count to 45. So that's easy enough. Now remember, if you need to modify, you just put your bottom knee down. Okay. Keep holding that plank. If you're struggling, try and think of anything other than how much time is left. And rest. Good. All right, stretch it out a second. Okay, next we're going to do the flutter kicks to scissors. So you're going to lie on your back. And what you're going to do, if you can, is hands behind the head. If you need to put your hands down, that's fine. And if you need to tuck your hands under your butt for now, that's fine if you're just more of a beginner and you just can't support yourself doing this. One thing you could do is don't go as low as I'm going to go. Just lift your legs a little higher. So I'm going to do this here. Again, you can put your head down. And I'm going to do flutter kicks, which look like this. And then scissor kicks like this. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay? Again, you could do them up here if you need to. And you could do them with bent knees. You could just kind of do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just kind of crisscross. Okay, let's do this. So we're going to come down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then just keep going like that. Make sure you're breathing. If you feel your back is starting to strain, then modify. Put your head down, don't go as low, put your hands under your hips if you need to. And rest. Good. Okay, so, excuse me. My throat is dry for some reason. Okay, we're doing leg drops on the last day of the calendar, Saturday, and reverse crunches. So leg drops can be both legs or just one leg at a time. Okay, so again, I'm going to keep my head up, but you can keep yours down. And the double leg will be here, exhaling to bring the legs back up, or single leg will be here, and just alternating the legs. You can also bend your knees if you need to. Just try whatever works for you. You can alternate legs and then do a double. If you can't do all the doubles, but you can do some. You can use that exhale to lift those legs back up, especially if you're doing the double leg. Okay. Reverse crunch is here. You can cross your ankles if you like, or you can keep your ankles uncrossed. It's up to you. Head is up, and you're just bringing your belly in. So my butt is coming off the ground because my belly is pulling in and causing it to come off the ground. It's not momentum. And then I'm just crunching my upper body as well. Now you can always keep your head down and just pull this way too. That's fine. You can bend your knees. You can cross your ankles. Whatever works for you. Like I said, you can add on if you want to. You can do on Saturday, you can do Monday through Saturday. Whatever it is to you. You challenge yourself. This is your week of abs, so make it count. Excellent. Okay, I always say stretch out your hips before you move on from that exercise because your hips get a little tight. But that is week 1. That's your abdominal focused week. So then in the next week, we're going to arms. Now, how I paired this up is the first exercise, you need absolutely no equipment. The second exercise, you will need weights. However, if you don't have weights, what you would do is just 2 sets of the first exercise. So let's say, okay, so the first day, which is Sunday, are staggered push-ups, which I'll show you, and then chest press. If you don't have weights, you would just do a set of staggered push-ups, rest for, however long you need, and then do a second set of staggered push-ups. Okay? So staggered push-ups are when one hand is behind the other, and then you switch. If you would prefer to just do regular push-ups, so I have a star next to it, and this is for the demonstration I'm referring to. So, okay, so if you're not doing the stagger, which is one hand here, and then you push up. So if I'm on my toes and I push up, I go like this. And then you just keep alternating and switching. Now you can go to your knees, so that's one modification. And most people can do this modification on their knees. But if you're not comfortable and you just want to do regular push-ups on your knees or on your toes, you can do that. You could even take it in and do more of a tricep focused push-up, and you're just gonna, come in like that. So there's a lot of different options. The most modified, I would say, is when you go onto the wall and you just put your hands on the wall and you just lean into the wall and press back. So if you prefer to do that, that's fine too. So or you could go on an incline where you're not totally standing up, you're not totally on the floor, you're kind of like off of I'd be off this bench, or maybe you have a couch or something like that you can use. So pick your poison. We're going to do stagger push-ups though together if you can. Here we go. Ready? You can do them on your knees or on your toes. You just keep switching arms, one forward, one back, and just keep switching. Excellent. So then the second exercise is with weights. So we're chest pressing. So let me grab my weight. You grab yours. And if you're not going to use weights, then you know what you're doing. You're going to do the second set of those push-ups whenever you're ready. So we're going to go on our backs here. Now you can do this on the floor. You can do this on a ball. You can do this any way you like. Okay. So a lot of times I'll stick my hips in the air. But for this one, I want to focus and say, just did all those abs. I want to focus on imprinting my spine, which means pushing my back into the floor by pulling my belly in. So here we go. Just press up and down. Now, if you've got some sort of shoulder issue and one of these exercises bothers you, you would just substitute it for something that, doesn't, obviously. So maybe it's turning your palms in when you do the exercise. Maybe it's avoiding it altogether, and you say, okay, Gianna, you're doing chest, but today I'm just going to do biceps because I can't do that. So, you know, don't say, oh, it's a wash because I can't do it. Just find what you can. You know, I'm just here helping you along the way here. Abs are in, increasing the spine. Like I said, you can lift your hips up if you want, and we're done with that. Okay. So, next are tricep dips and tricep extensions. Okay. So, you can do the dips right here, but you don't get a lot of room to move because your butt's going to hit the floor. So what I'm going to suggest is that we go to a bench or something. I've got this little bench here. It's not all that high. You know, it might be, I prefer something higher, but it's okay. Knees can be bent or straight. You find whatever challenges you more. We're just going to bend the elbows and we're going to drop down and up. Now, please don't keep the arms straight and just move your butt in like a, whatever motion. You need to bend the elbows. It's not about dropping your butt. It's about bending your elbows. Okay, so we're coming here. We're going down and up. If you want to make it even more challenging, you could put your feet on something too, about the same, it should be the same height as whatever your hands are on. Or if you want to make it more challenging, you put the feet higher. There's lots of ways that you can increase the challenge for yourself. My fingertips are forward too. I forgot to mention that because some people get confused on that part. Fingertips are forward. And rest. Okay, tricep extensions. You're going to take a weight or two weights over your head. I'm going to grab this weight. You can hold the weight any way you like. I'm holding it this way because it's a little easier for me on my hands. I don't have my gloves on. I have arthritis in my hands. But you can hold it so it's, the other way, both heads of the dumbbell are in your hands. The thing I like to remind you is don't sway your back. Tuck your hips under, pull your belly in. You shouldn't be standing with a sway back. It will hurt your back. Like I said, you can do this with two weights if you prefer. And rest. Okay. Next day we have plank to push up, or plank up and down is what some people call it. Some people call it walking plank. It's whatever you want to call it. So what it is we're in a plank position here, a tall plank position, and then we go down to our forearms, and then you push up, okay? So we're gonna do that. And you can do it on your knees if you need to. We're going to try doing the plank position, but you do whatever you need to do, okay? So it's going to go down and up. And rest. Good. Now we do bicep curls. So when you get some weights for that, you're definitely going to go lower. Have an arm issue, so I'm going to try and be very cautious about my situation here. Let's see if these will work and see how it goes. So if you can just sit here and do these kind of curls. You can do hammer curls if you like, or you can sort of supinate your curl like I'm going to do, where you hands start palms in and then you lift and raise your palms so they're up. You can alternate too if it gets to be too heavy. If this is just too long for you. For me, I've got this tendonitis thing going on in my arm, so I have to be careful about the amount of weight I lift and how long I do it. So if I start alternating, that is why. Just trying to listen to my body a little bit. I should probably be resting it, but I'm a bad example in that case. again, don't sway your back. Think about your belly pulling in, supporting you as you lift those weights. So if you don't have weights, what are you doing? You're doing the last exercise twice. Okay, let's see. Do that next before I put those away. So the next day, which is the Wednesday of the week, Superman squeezes and bent over rows. Okay, so to work your back without weights, it's a little challenging. You do a lot of this stuff. So what we're going to do is line our belly, and we're going to squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. And you want to try and think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Okay, so don't knock it if you're, a seasoned exerciser and you're like, oh Lord, what the heck is this? It's really important because we've got these muscles back here, the rhomboids and the lower trapezius muscles in your back that don't always do the job they're supposed to do. So this really isolates them and forces you to think about them. Now you can also take your arms out and try and squeeze here. It's just, you really have to focus a little bit more. So I like to do with the bent arms so that you can get in there a little bit better. Now, if you don't have weights, you would do a second set of those. Otherwise, it's bent over rows. Grab your weights. I'm going to do it from the side view for a second here. And you're going to squeeze, squeeze right here. Good. Keep going. If you've got have enough weights, you would go as slow as I am, just to get really in there. If you've got lighter weights, I'm sure you'll go a little faster, but the idea is not to speed through it. The idea is to really get into those muscles. Hold at the top for a moment. Be careful you're not dropping your chin down. You're keeping your head in neutral, or lifting your head up. I mean, you can lift it up every once in a while to watch, but try and keep it in. Excellent. So then we're moving on to downward dog push-ups and chest flies. Downward dog push-ups are, especially if you're a yoga person or someone who enjoys doing yoga, you're going to be in this position bent over here. So you're just walking your hands out here, and you're going to push up from here. So my heels, you probably can't see because no weights. My heels are up, and I'm going to push down here and up. This gets me more into my tricep and the more, here we go, a little bit. What I'm trying to say, it's in the chest pecs, but it's the minor, not the major. So it's more on the outside. You'll feel it on the outside of your chest muscles. Get into those